was
very
away. I was in Arizona, not Arizona, New Mexico and Texas.
okay. All
Yeah.
right. Welcome back. And it's going to have a big snow.
I know.
All right. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and get started. So the first thing on my agenda is the 2026 joint proposal with the Quality and Safety Committee. I haven't heard back from them, but I heard that the date that we're waiting for is the 31st anyway, so I guess they're still making decisions on that. Hopefully we'll get something in because unfortunately our abstract that we sent in with Colleen didn't get accepted, so I would like to have some visibility from the OR Sustainability Subcommittee on the agenda. And then, okay, so I haven't heard anything further for that. And then for the site selection rubric and abstract, Colleen, I've been working on that draft. I put together your abstract and the proposal basically that we have been working on and put them together. Are you saying something? You're on mute.
I don't know why I'm like struggling with my phone.
Okay.
No, that sounds fine. I can start thinking about it after the end of next week because we have our CSV site visit on Thursday and Friday. So once that's done, I'll have some bandwidth to start thinking about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that last time, so I
Yeah.
thought I would
Yeah.
just go ahead and kick it up and
Okay.
send it to you for February.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And we have to think then also about where we want to submit it. Because I think we could potentially get a broader like readership if we think about, I don't know if one of the sustainability journals makes sense. I'm not sure. So something for us to think about, but obviously we got to
Mhm.
write first.
Yeah, yeah. And the way I was approaching it was that, we're using the 3 years from the APSA annual meeting as like a way that we develop this, but
Mhm.
we're thinking that this can be used for many academic conferences or large meetings
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
have a wide attendee um, geographical distribution.
Right. Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
All right. Um, so I'll kick that back to you, or I'll send you the link. Hopefully my
Okay.
OneDrive will not cause too much trouble. I'll send it to you like at the end of next week or something like that.
Okay. That sounds great.
Okay. I have carbon offset credits on my thing. We haven't done very much on that. We can maybe pick that up again, as we kind of move on. But the carbon offset credit was us. We're trying to put together a proposal for the Board of Governors to consider including carbon offset credits for the registration. But I think this is something that we will want to have together before like the registration starts for the next year. Not that we're thinking about not that I'm thinking about like getting it in place for the registration for 2027, but I think that's probably a good time to start thinking about putting it in. Okay. All right. We got Sarah and Ramin here. And so the next one I've got is changes at future APSA meeting sites. Sarah, do you want to start with that one? We had a document going that I had made a lot of edits on. Do you have that version, or do you want me
I
to
don't,
pull it up on share screen?
yeah, I'm not actually sure if I have that doc.
Okay.
I just had up actually the emails that we were going back and forth is what I was going to reference.
Um, okay. I'm going to share screen, and if this looks familiar to you, maybe I'll continue to edit here and then I'll share it with you. Is this, I think you initially created this document and then we just kind of wrote onto it.
And I've just like lost it in my
Okay.
breadth of documents, but
Right. Let me go ahead and share it with you.
it pops up for me. Sorry. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay. It's
I
gonna
do,
be.
I do remember making it. I just it definitely got lost in my folders.
fell asleep. There we are. Okay. I'm sending it to all of you guys. And then the other thing I need to do is to make sure that, oh God. I'll put you guys in afterwards so we don't have to watch me do that. Okay. All right, so here are the ideas. I did write to, because I'm looking down here, I did write to Jen to ask her if they had gotten a sponsorship for APSA 2026, and she hasn't responded back to me. So Ken, do you by chance know if
What do you mean by sponsorship?
what she was waiting for was a vendor to sponsor the lanyards. So I guess it would be like the lanyards would have maybe the logo of that vendor.
I see. I don't know. I have not heard.
Okay.
I would just reach out to her again because if I mean that would she'd be fine having it, if you want to send her an email again.
Yeah, I'll just send her another email. I was going to invite her to the next meeting, but Sarah, I wanted to like kind of talk about where we are and then bring her in on the February one. Okay, because if there's no one sponsoring the lanyards, then what we wanted to do was put in a thing for a bring your own lanyard option. All right, Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I definitely lost this document, but going off kind of the emails we were talking about, I was hoping we could finalize as a group sort of the asks that we were hoping to implement for sustainability purposes of the upcoming meeting. A lot of them are things that I think should be relatively easy to do without a whole lot of coordination or like work on behalf of either like the executive board or the location itself. So number one, as an easy thing, would be like the instructional signage. Putting just basic things, signs up that have recycling, compost, trash, maybe has like the APSA logo on it or something, so that people know what to do when they face the bins. And then we talked a little bit about the lanyards as well. If there is no sponsoring group for the lanyards, then putting in our, maybe leading up to APSA, putting in the 2-minute turnover, bring your own lanyard drive or something like that. We could even try to see if people want to, if they have extra lanyards, they could even have like a dumping place, and then we could use those for people who don't have them, to try to just reuse instead of having to get more. Another is, promotion for bringing your own water bottle. We already know that the site has water refill stations and that kind of thing. So, encouraging people to do that. And then what were the other ones? The request for the green meeting. Oh, sorry.
So I was gonna just highlight put it in highlight,
Oh,
like the things that we, yeah. Bring your own water bottle. And then last year we included this in the 2-minute turnover too.
Yeah.
And then we checked to see where they had water refill stations.
A couple other maybe moderately more intensive. We had mentioned last time, I think also with Jane, is like requesting formally to have a green meeting set up, because they did advertise on the website that while they do have all of these sustainability efforts, that you should request having the green set up, and they will, I don't know if that means they do more things or different things or what, but just putting that ask out to the venue. Similarly, minimizing printed signage, so using whatever kind of digital signage they have available. If we have our own that we can bring, great. I don't expect that though, but if they have something that we can for posting, then that would be nice. Using heavy cardstock as opposed to plastic for name tags, which again, I don't know if that's something that's already been in the works and it's a little harder to change for this upcoming meeting, but something that's a little bit more green. And then finally, one of the ideas that we had talked about before that I'm really excited about, I think would be really fun, is the whole sustainability scavenger hunt and the best way to implement that. So I was imagining maybe some way of having like a digital bingo card, or you post a picture of doing fill in the blank sustainable activity, and it has a hashtag with it, like APSA goes green or something. And then whoever either accumulates the most or fills out the bingo card, or however we choose to do that, gets a sponsored NAT subscription, is what we talked about, which again, I just don't know what the process for okaying that and setting it up is, but these
Man,
also
I just paid for my NAT subscription. That's so expensive. But good. I need it. I'm keeping it.
yeah, but these were the things. We have some other things that we had talked about that I think are also really good ideas, but just I think will require a little bit more legwork and like planning with the hires up earlier on in the process. But these all seemed relatively easy to implement.
Like which ones? What were the ones that were reach goals?
I have them here. So things that I thought that might be a little bit more potentially reach would be like exhibitor sustainability standards.
Oh, okay.
I just truly don't know what that looks like, but that was something I had read about when I was like looking into how meetings can be more sustainable. So like any kind of requirements, I don't know if that is, what kind of paraphernalia they have, what kind of advertising stuff they use or whatnot. And then another one that we had kind of mentioned was the, swag, sustainable swag options, which APSA is not really big on swag, but if there are any prizes and or swag that is there, making it more in the as gift cards or charitable donations or subscriptions like for NAT or something like that. So it's not just stuff. Those were some that kind of popped out as being a little bit maybe harder to implement in the immediate setting, but
I think the donate leftover food would be, sounds
yeah.
like a reach.
Yeah, that could, and interestingly, the venue actually already says that they do that to some capacity. It'd be interesting to find out exactly how or what and to what extent, but something actually randomly, I was just out to dinner with my boyfriend's family, and we were talking about events and things, and a drive that his mom has done before with her company is at big conferences and things, is collecting the toiletries and everything that you get at the hotel and then donating them to people who are in need, which I thought was an interesting potential thing to do. Of course, that is wasteful in the sense that they're small bottles. They, if you leave them there, then theoretically the next person will use them, but it also could be a way to, donate to children and family who maybe are in need and need things like shampoo and conditioner and soap. But that just came up today at dinner, so I thought that was an interesting idea.
I don't know that the little ones, I don't know if the hotels refill them. I would assume that they throw them away.
That's what I assume too. Some hotels have also moved to like refillable large like
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I love it when I see those, but
Yeah.
like I feel like I saw it and then it disappeared.
But yeah, so again, that literally just came up and I was like, oh, that's sort of an interesting idea, is, collect those things and give them to people in need. Quasi sustainable.
What do you guys think? That's a new idea that Sarah, we didn't have it on here. What do you guys think about?
So are they collecting like partially used containers? Like, because I guess my thought is I don't use the stuff in the room, but I leave it because it's unopened, right? So I'm assuming that the room just gets turned over and the unused stuff stays. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know if it all gets thrown out or not.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Again, this is purely anecdotal, but she was saying that they would actually purposefully take, even if they didn't use them, take them like every day so that then they'd collect a lot. And the bigger purpose was to then be able to give to people in need, as opposed to necessarily the sustainability aspect, which is why I say, like, of course, going through all these little bottles and stuff is not great.
Right.
But it like stuck out to me as sort of like, okay, that's like a reuse or a like different path of use possibility. I don't know. They may not really fit with our goals, but Again, came up at dinner and I was like, oh, that's sort of pertinent to my meeting tonight. But as a thought.
What do you guys think? I saw the curate a list of restaurants, but were you going to choose ones that were sustainable, had, less styrofoam, that kind of stuff on the bottom?
The last time we did that, I targeted restaurants that like source from local areas, like yeah, they would say that they like source from local markets, and ones that were no, I don't think I was able to get ones that were close. It was Montreal. I think it was kind of all over the place, but um yeah, it was ones that like kind of had like a sustainability goal to the restaurant, and one of the main things was like they featured local market, local food, local farms, stuff like that. I don't know if I have seen on the restaurants that like they don't use single-use plastic. It's interesting because apparently Tenafly, the little town that I'm in, does have a policy like that, but it's very hard to enforce with all these restaurants, and they literally go around and like talk to the restaurant owners and like remind them that like you're not supposed to send out any single-use plastic unless the customer asks. But I don't know if I've seen that like advertised necessarily on the restaurants when I was looking at it last year.
I mean, would it make sense to like curate a list of places within walking distance, or I like your idea of places that are locally sourced. Do we want to put together like a list of vegetarian restaurants or like restaurants that are near transit stations? I'm just thinking, like what's the bulk of people going out for dinner? It's probably the Ubers that they're driving to dinner. That's a big part of it, right? So, does it make sense to find places that are more accessible? And I don't know. I like the idea. It's just that, like, how do we capture it and make it actually like more eco-friendly?
Yeah, I think with Chicago that the restaurants might be more, there may be more restaurants that are close within walking distance. I think I remember that when I was looking at it for Montreal, it became like really spread out. And I was like, there's no way people are going to walk to these places. But they probably could have taken the metro there, honestly.
I
Um,
actually wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Chicago's a big enough city. Like,
yeah,
there's always top 10 this, top 10 that of restaurants. Like maybe there is a top 10 like eco-friendly restaurant list out there.
yeah, I bet so too.
Well,
I
I was
just
also thinking, oh,
I
sorry.
just put something in the chat.
Yeah, you saw something?
Yeah, Ken beat me to it. I had seen the same thing.
Oh.
You're fine. Oh my God.
I think there's also, we could do kind of both as we don't want to say you only have to eat within walking distance, but here's a list of restaurants that are eco-friendly for X,
Mhm.
Y, and Z reasons if you want to explore, but also maybe have some kind of map that highlights, 5 or 10 restaurants that are within walking distance or public transit distance. Similarly, like activities that are within walking distance, just so that people are aware of it
Mhm.
to encourage that
Polystyrene
behavior.
free. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Sorry.
These are all things that people could, earn greeny points on their scavenger hunt. Like, hey, we went out, a group of 10 of us walked to dinner. All right, stamp each other's card and whatever. I think there are ways to make it fun.
That's a great idea. Let me add that. Where's my thing? Here we go. No, that's not it. Sorry. Where's too many things open? Okay. All right.
None of us has that problem, and I don't know what's wrong with you.
Okay. I walked to dinner. Or we walked to dinner. That's so lonely. Okay. I love it. I love that. I was like thinking what would be really nice, and I just don't know how to do it, would be to, if we got this list of restaurants and somehow put it like on a map that was like a little API that we could put into the 2-minute turnover. Do you guys like by any chance Does that sound like something that's feasible, doable?
I would think so. I mean, I'm not very tech savvy, but I mean, in a basic form, just, do the research on what restaurants where, and then
Get a Google map
get a
and put
map
like
and just
little,
put dots on it.
like those little tags
Yeah,
labeled. I'm gonna
something
ask
like
my husband to help me with that. He did something like that basically for our trip to Japan. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. But maybe we could do that. Because I feel like a visual is really helpful for people to know like where these restaurants are in their heads. Okay. All right. Okay, so the green highlights are reach goals that we're not sure we want to do. And the yellow ones are ones that we do think we want to do. Was there anything else? Any other thoughts? We will do I think, honestly, I think the transportation options, I think Jen's already got that set. Oh, here, curate a list of activities within walking distance.
and that goes with the map thing. Like, I think that's like, I'm almost imagining like when you go to a hotel and they give you the map
Yeah,
of like stuff. I'm imagining that we sort of curate our own version of that, but it's specifically with, environmentally conscious restaurants or activities or whatever.
And if we
yeah.
do that, we can certainly, you can either have a QR code or something at the front desk that would allow people just to scan it in.
It's a great idea too. Okay.
Certainly don't want to print it up 1,000 sheets of these things.
Oh,
No. That's why I was thinking like, I guess you can pull up your phone and look up the last 2-minute turnover before it came, or yeah, use the QR code for them to scan and then they can look up where they want to go to eat that night.
I don't know how, I have no concept of how complicated this is or not, but it theoretically could be even embedded in the app for the conference, like, I don't know how, but places to go or something.
Anything is possible, but the more complicated it is, the more challenging it's going to be. And we are only 4 months away from the meeting.
Yeah. Do you know, are we still using the Wahova app?
Huva? Yeah, I'm pretty
Wahova?
sure we are. I can't
Okay.
imagine it's not. I don't think there's been any plans to ditch it.
Okay.
Because in the simplest version, I would thinking it could be even just like a link to a PDF of that, of like said map, and then people can, look up how to get places or whatever, but to at least have a list of things or a map of things.
Can't remember how, like, I remember you could get to the schedule on the app. And wasn't there like a map of the hotel or conference?
Mhm.
And then there was like a picture page that people could put on pictures. Uh, and there was like a connect with me, like almost like an instant messenger sort of thing. There must have been like an announcement page or something like that, right? I can't remember. It was just last year. Um, okay. Okay. Well, again, maybe that's something we can ask Jen. Okay, but at least we could do the other things for sure.
I mean, even if it's just a link to that document or the page that Ken shared, I would like to think it would be easy enough to just put a link on the thing, even if it's not like a map graphic.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it. Okay.
Were we, I think I may have missed the last meeting. I don't remember, but
We
was
didn't,
there
we
at one
didn't.
point talk about like doing a project, a cleanup project or some kind of sustain, or is that, and that maybe is on your agenda. I don't know if I'm getting ahead, but I didn't know if we had talked about that.
No, you're exactly right. That's Ramin. You still here?
Sorry, was that I was distracted there for a minute and I heard my name.
Yes. Colleen was asking about your cleanup project. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, totally. The I I think this is totally feasible. The timing will be a little bit of a tricky thing, and so I'm waiting to hear back from two local groups. Wynn had found the same ones that she had messaged about, which was great. One is I won't remember their names off the top of my head, but one, their general sort of modus operandi is that they're in the business of arranging cleanup opportunities for groups. It's like a big thing that they do. Oh, does your group want to do something and clean up around Chicago? Link up with us, and so on and so forth. And another regularly puts on small, medium, and large scale events around. And it just so happens that their river walk cleanup, people been to Chicago before, that walk along the river, which is, as best I can tell, right, like the Sheraton Grand's right on there. They're doing their annual cleanup during our conference, but it's on Saturday from 9 to noon. At first, we were hoping this would be so great in the afternoon after the conference is done, but it's in the morning. I feel like in the last years, Saturdays had a little bit more of an involved or ambitious agenda at APSA. It used to be people interested in the COG updates or not. So I don't know how the timing of that will work.
Is it this
So I've
one,
reached
the
out to both.
Friends? Is it
What's
this
that?
Friends of Chicago River?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And so they, I messaged both these groups to say that we've got a national conference that draws several hundred people, and I don't know what the volume of people would be coming from our group to participate in this. It could be 20 and it could be 80. I think it's probably 2-3 dozen, somewhere in the middle is the most likely. And so I'm waiting to hear back from them on timing and what would work. If Saturday morning is a hard sell and conflicts with the official program for the meeting, then the morning of the 6th for people getting in that day and before they have committee meetings and so forth, I think could be a good date. I'm hoping, I nudged those folks. I'm hoping to hear back from them. And my thought was, as Kim was saying, we're just a couple months away. I wanted to get a proposal out to Dr. Tracy and Jen by next week.
Yeah, it looks like their registration opens March 2026.
Mhm.
So
For the river cleanup event.
yeah.
Yeah. I figure if we've got a bigger group, that and it's not like they exist only for that one event. They've got a presence and multiple contacts and so forth. So I figure they should be able to get through to them.
If it was your like most ideal time, when do you think that would be? Like the like, if we use the option 1 where they link us with a cleanup project, like what would be your proposed timing for that?
I think it's one of those two. It's either the morning of the 6th or honestly like the afternoon of Saturday the 9th. Right, Thursday and Friday they're the full meeting days. Friday night's usually that's the president's dinner, right?
Mhm.
The other option would be, and this is kind of where, if I remember right, like back when the APSA fun run was done from time to time, and Dr. Oldham was nudging that, it'd be early in the morning. That'd be another option. It would lose some people, but for the early risers, it could be like Saturday early morning or Friday early morning, get up and go clean up, especially if it's a short walk away. It's one of those parks right there. It's on the river walk. You guys tell me if you think there's other days within the conference layout that you think would be better.
What do you guys think?
Honestly, last year was the first time I was at APSA again in a while, and the meeting format I feel like is completely different from what I remember. So I honestly don't even remember what we're looking at. So, so I think just it's obviously got to be something that's not going to conflict with other scheduled events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
haven't seen the
welcome
schedule
dinner's
yet.
usually, oh, sorry, what's
I
that?
haven't seen the schedule yet. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it'd be important to actually look at what the schedule is, where there's actually a gap, and then make that as your target.
Yeah.
And so I would make sure that you touch base with Jen and or the program committee and or make sure that you're finding the right date.
Yeah. I think that's been a holdup, and that's a good point. You should just reach out to them and say, "Can you share a prelim? Do you have a sketch out?" The welcome dinner, well, that's usually Thursday evening, right? Am I remembering correctly? Not Wednesday evening. Wednesday evening is like board of governors meetings, sometimes our committee meetings and stuff. That'd be another one. Everybody's going to get in Wednesday for the conference to start Thursday mornings. It'd be Wednesday evening around committee meetings before and after and so forth. Who's the program chair this year?
Jason Fisher.
Okay. You think he'd mind? I don't know him personally. You think he'd mind if I just emailed him directly and said, "Hey, we're coming up with this proposal. A,
I
kind of
would
what do you think? First impressions, and B, can you send me a rough outline of the
I would start with
meeting
Jen.
plan?" Okay.
I would be surprised if they don't have a sketched out schedule at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I do feel like it's often like you were saying, I mean, like it's the certain dates that hit, and the dinners are usually certain dates, and the presidential address is usually a certain date.
I mean, if you want to guesstimate, I would look at last year's schedule. It's
Right.
not going to vary much compared to this year.
Mhm.
That's what I've kind of gone off of.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Is there
there
anything
there has
else?
seemed to be general enthusiasm within our group about this. I know we've got a smaller quorum today, but everybody still think this is a reasonable thing, at least worth offering up.
I think so.
Okay.
I think you
Yeah.
try. I mean, you don't know. I mean, it may not work, which is fine, but I
Mhm.
think you try, and if you don't try, you die. So you might as well try.
Yeah, what's the harm? There's no harm.
None.
I think
Also,
it's a way of just being friendly visitors, somebody else's city, and I don't know, maybe it's good. It's a good showing for APSA for pediatric surgery.
you guys know if there's like I mean, like a way to like advertise ourselves when we're there, um, doing the cleanup. And I don't know if there's like a banner or something that has the APSA logo on it.
I imagine if this really gets rolling and we have people showing early interest and kind of early signups, and we know we've got a small crowd, we could do. Have you ever done it where your division or your team goes, you register for like a fundraiser, a fun event or something, right? And you make your own little T-shirts. It's low cost. It's probably nothing we'd ask APSA to absorb. But you just say, oh, picking up for the kids, pediatric surgeons visiting Chicago, whatever. I'm just throwing stuff out off my head. But that might be the thing, like little team
Mm.
T-shirts, little community building within ourselves too.
What do you think the optics would look like if we like were doing like a cleanup thing and we were wearing, I don't know, like white coats or scrubs, but like, obviously nothing that we would wear to. What do you think about the optics of that? Doctors
I
picking up
Yeah,
trash.
sounds cute to me. Yeah, I think we figure out what the message is that we want to send, like what we want to kind of um, what we want to draw attention to ourselves over being doctors focused on the care of kids, looking at the environment that we're passing on to our kids. We figure what element of that we want to play up and then wear that. That's cute.
Mhm.
White coats, stethoscopes.
scrub caps. Maybe instead of
Yeah, scrub
giving
caps.
t-shirts, we could get scrub
Yes.
caps, and then then we don't
Nice.
have to worry about large, medium, small, or whatever.
And then you take that message home and you wear it down the OR. That's the best idea. That's awesome.
We need a logo. APSA cleaning up for kids, cleaning up your mess. Pediatric surgeons cleaning up your mess, as usual. No, I was kidding. All right, I'm joking. Okay. Is there anything that we can help you with for that?
No, I appreciate that greatly. I don't think so at this point. Just a friendly, but how about Linda send me a guilt-provoking email on Monday and say, Ramin, did you get that thing sent out? That'll be the
Okay.
best. That's the best.
Okay.
And then when it comes to other stuff and next steps, I would love to involve as many people and spread the word. Absolutely. But yeah, that'll be the nudge will be the best.
All right, gotcha. I will do it. Maybe start brainstorming or looking at like how to do those hats.
The scrub caps, yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's, I mean, obviously if it gets approved. Okay, all right. The next one I have is a post-meeting survey. Colleen, this was one thing that you had talked about before, like including one question about sustainability. Is that something you still want to do?
Yeah, I think it's worth trying. Because at this point, like for all the stuff that we're doing, we don't really have a way to measure it, right? So if we at least have a question in the survey, it would give us some indication as to whether or not any of the sustainability stuff is landing. So I'd have to dig back through pictures on my phone because I literally took a screenshot with my phone of the question. And
Questions?
I think it was from a PSYOP meeting, but I would almost just, for lack of a better word, plagiarize their question and use exactly what they had or something almost exactly identical. I just don't know who oversees that post-meeting survey. Is that the program committee or who do we reach out to for that?
Jen said to send it to her
Okay,
the
I
last
can work
meeting.
on that.
Okay. And then so that's everything for stuff advocacy within APSA and the meeting. Next one would be survey, the survey on parental attitudes.
Also gonna reboot that after this site visit next week.
Perfect. And then I sent a list of brags and asks to Leslie. I think they were doing a meeting or a strategic meeting or something like that. So I sent that to her.
Okay.
All right, guys, that's it. That's what I got on my agenda. Does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about and bring up?
I think that's it.
I'm working on my local sustainability project. It's hard. It's like nobody wants to do it. All I hear is that it's too expensive. I have to convince them that the money works out, but like they're like saying if we do this, it's going to cost us the Mount Sinai system 1 point something million dollars. And I'm like, okay, well, that's like paying these nurses that you're striking for like, I don't know, a fourth of the day.
So
Is that the
sorry,
reusable gown thing that you're talking about?
what's the project you're doing?
Oh, I'm trying to, Mount Sinai, the entire system uses disposable isolation gowns, those yellow filmy things,
Yeah.
those spun,
Yeah.
like plastic things. So I'm working with the sustainability officer to see if we can transition over to reusable gowns. And our plan is to do like a pilot project just in the PICU. And then the first thing we get when we send an email out to like one person to ask one question. And then all of a sudden I've got 20 people on this email and they're like, this only makes sense if we do it for the entire hospital system. I'm like, no, pilot project, guys. And then, somebody goes, well, we tried to do this before COVID and it was financially and it not feasible, but I'll run the numbers again for you. And then, it comes back, here are the numbers. And it's like, like 1 point, whatever million dollars. That definitely isn't going to work.
Do you know how far they're carrying out the analysis?
Um, they're just doing like purchasing the gowns, laundering the gowns, and I think that's pretty much it. And they're comparing it against the cost of like purchasing the reusable gowns and then the trash for throwing away disposable gowns and the trash to throw
And how
away.
many uses are they calculating for each gown?
We
Right.
estimated like 70 or 80.
Okay.
Like that.
You gotta put the infographic next to it with the pile of trash,
Yeah.
from the disposable gowns. I wonder, mull this over. Do you think that peer pressure would work? Because this is wonderful. I've dreamed about spearheading something. If you put some legwork into figuring this out and the logistics, I'd be happy to say I can push for that here. And if we say, hey, the Joneses down the street are doing it, like you go, hey, Phoenix is doing it, and we go, hey, Sinai's doing it,
Yeah,
and,
but
and maybe that
Phoenix
drives.
is quite far down the street. I'm really looking right here to Colleen, who is like.
So what I was going to
No, but I
say
mean,
is we've been,
But
Go
I
ahead.
hear you, peer pressure.
Oh, I was just going to say exactly. You just goad the C-suite into saying, hey, we've got a
Oh.
couple of different places that are interested in this. There may be value. Let's look at it in a multi-center fashion and pilot. Maybe that gets them over there.
No, I would tell you, unfortunately, administrators want to look at the bottom line.
Yeah.
What you need to do is make it financially viable for them. And so what you can do is actually not have them run the numbers because they're going to look at the numbers based on how they look at it, not from the eye of sustainability. So I remember when I did my MHA, they had us do an environmental project. And it is amazing when you start thinking about each piece and component.
Mhm.
I ended up doing a project on moving um, what's the hand gel from
Yeah.
inside an
Guard.
operating room, outside the operating room to inside the OR. It's a very simple thing, a simple placement thing. And then I calculated out how many washes of use of water and how much scrub brushes, and I just mentally did it myself. I did it, I did the estimates, and I said, okay, this is the amount of money that you're going to save. And then they did it. Because if you demonstrate to them a cost savings, they will do that. If you say this is going to cost $1 million, they'll say, thank you very much. See you later.
Yeah, that's what I got.
So Linda, I would actually ask them, like, are they just telling you it's too expensive, or have you seen like the spreadsheet CBA that details all the aspects of it?
They sent me a spreadsheet that calculated out an estimated amount for the whole hospital system. So then what I did was I went to materials management and asked them to tell me how many disposable gowns they actually order or restock. They
Yeah.
couldn't tell me how much they restock, but they could tell me how many they ordered per week for the 2 ICU floors that we have. So now I need to go back and recalculate the numbers for, based on those, based on
But
what they
the
said.
real cost savings, though, should be across the whole system. Because the places that have done this have saved like millions. So I'd be really curious to see what their numbers are actually showing and how far out they're taking the calculation. The other
Can you
thing I was
send
just
me
going to
if there's really literature on that, can you send it to me? Because I would
Yeah,
really
well,
love
what
to
I
look
was going
at
to
that.
say is there's a playbook that's going to be coming out that there's like there's a collaborative. It's called the Charm Collaborative. Don't ask me what it stands for, I forget. But we've taken like different case studies from different hospitals and put them in there and then compiled like a step-by-step playbook of like this is how you do it and these are the things you need to look at. Um, as I'm getting caught up on stuff from getting back from vacation, I can look at that again in more detail. And we just had a meeting the other day, so it's not like ready yet for publication, but it's going to be in the next couple of months, I think.
Okay, that would be really helpful for me. Um, because I'm trying to figure out how to count my own numbers.
It's out of date at this point also, but I don't know if Sinai is a practice green health member, but I think it's on their website that the UCLA case study is listed,
Yeah.
and that was millions of savings.
UCLA.
Yeah.
I'll look for it. Okay. Thank you. That's as many leads as I can get.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to get one of these things going, I feel like.
Trust me, there's plenty of other stumbling blocks, which is why, despite having done all this work for it, we're still not doing it here either. But the cost really should, no pun intended, that should come out in the wash.
Are there any smaller projects you can focus on that might catch some interest? Because sometimes when you start big, which is what you're doing, even with a pilot project, you're starting big. I mean, you have to overcome inertia.
Mhm.
I don't know, again, I don't know what a smaller project would be, but I would consider a smaller project so you can start getting some wins and then get people interested because you start big, you're going to have to really do most of the legwork, which is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. A part of my issue is, for example, I was trying to figure out how many gowns we use. And so I was going to have just basically like a medical student from the sustainability officer. She had some medical students that she was like, we can just have them like stand on the unit like certain days, let everybody know that they're going to be there. And all they're going to do is just going to count like whenever somebody pulls one of these things out. And that became like a big thing. Oh, we have to get approval for these medical students to be observing on the unit. And we're like, first of all, they're medical students. They're already in the whole hospital. Like they're supposed to be there. And then two, they're not observing like clinical care or anything. They're just counting the times that you pull the count. That's what like, it's like here. I've definitely found that it's probably better to just do it. And if you get caught, to like say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I had to like ask. That was okay.
I've struggled a lot with usage with things like packaging and blue wrap and stuff. And I learned the same lesson as actually just figuring out what was ordered, even though it's an approximation. There's
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
smaller headache wait.
Yeah, because I was counting it for the NICU, and the NICU keeps it in the packs of 10, which, then it's roughly like this. The PICU they just stuff it, the whole thing. They pull the packs open, they just stuff it. So then you're like, you can't just assume that if this one package is like pretty much all together and intact, that you've got 10 there. Anyways, those are just my little things, guys. I don't want to keep you guys here late.
The other thing I would just add to that, like walk through the basement of your hospital and make some friends down there. Because those are the guys and gals, and I just was going to say guys, and then I said guys and gals, and my boyfriend gives me a hard time every day I say gals. He's like, that's equally as sexist. So the people in the basement are the ones who order the stuff and who will be able to give you numbers without having to jump through hoops of having like
You're
students.
so right. Like I emailed like this guy named Pedro. He was like
Yeah.
materials management. He was so helpful.
Correct. Yeah. Get to know Pedro, spend some time
I
with
called
Pedro,
him. I learned about
call
his family,
him.
his kids,
Yep,
and it was like
exactly.
it was so
But
much easier.
yeah, and that's something that a lot of people will say, is it's like you really need to just build that network because there's a lot of people that are interested in this, but the dots haven't been connected, right? And you walking down to the basement as a physician makes a big statement, or whatever, back hallway, or but expressing interest and going to meet them in their space and talking about it, and hey, let's go walk through the loading dock. Like, show me what it looks like. I've never seen this before, right? And then they're happy to show off like their workspace.
Hmm. Okay.
So
I probably do need to
anyway.
understand about storage too.
Yeah, that's going to be also a major stumbling block.
Yeah.
But
All right. Thank you guys. I think
right.
maybe I'll see some of you guys on the next meeting. I don't know if you guys are.
Which one are you going to? Because I just saw that there's a consumer product safety meeting and then there's also a podcast meeting at the same time.
Those.
Okay. So are we doing consumer product safety, or are we doing podcasts? Consumer product safety.
And
Okay.
then the next half hour will be the podcast.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Awesome.
Enjoy.
I will
I'm helping
try
with Girl
not to
Scout
have them.
cookies.
What's that?
I said enjoy. I'm helping with Girl Scout cookies.
Have fun.
Amazing.
I love it. All right, bye,
All
guys.
right. Thank you.
Bye, you guys.